Hi guys, Coach Victor Robledo here today, and I'm here to share a story with you. The day that my endocrinologist called me a lazy Mexican. Yes, it did happen. I'm going to share that story with you, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of the problems with allopathic medicine, if you're suffering from adrenal fatigue, and what you will encounter in medicine and how to solve that. But before we get into that, please make sure you like and subscribe this video. If you have any questions, I love interacting and helping my audience, so you can leave them in the comments. I'm Coach Victor Robledo. I've been doing this for 30 years. I help people understand what they need to be happy, healthy, and strong, from nutrition, workouts, mobility, and mindset. And I also help them to understand there's a reason why they can go out and train, that find that why. So let's get into it. So I was going through a massive amount of adrenal fatigue. I was in my mid 30s. That was almost 12 years ago. And I'd gotten to the point where I needed to turn to someone to get some help. So I ended up with a panic attack, ended up in the ER. They kept saying, there's nothing wrong with you. Actually, they told them, they asked me if I was taking any supplements or if I was on any steroids. I've never touched the stuff. Actually, I've rarely even seen the stuff. And I do look like I work out. I'm a fit guy, but I'm not massive. And so I think they were just looking for a reason or a scapegoat. And I told them I'd taken some creatine monohydrate that morning. And it's like, oh, it's that. No, I know it's just pure creatine monohydrate. But in the end, I needed to pursue and figure out what was going on. So I made an appointment with an endocrinologist. It took a huge step for me to even make that appointment. And I promptly go back, and the first thing he does is look at me and like, you're sick? And I described some of the symptoms that I was having, particularly with regards to my endocrinology. I said, look, my libido's low, my energy's low, I'm having trouble recovering from aches and pains, my blood sugar management, my GI. He's like, whoa. You have way too many symptoms for me to actually analyze. And before we got into that, he actually walked me out to his waiting room and said, I want you to look around at all these people. These are sick people. You are not sick. And I said, what? I had taken this massive step to like, look, I need some help. Something's up. I don't know exactly what it is, but I'm off. And he was immediately sort of deflated me, like there's nothing wrong with me. And at that point, I was probably 35 pounds heavier than I am. I was pushing close to 195. I couldn't keep my weight down, even though I was eating a really low fat, traditional bodybuilding staples, really, really low carb, lots of chicken, a little bit of beef, tons of eggs. Of course, none of it was sourced at that moment, and only really broccoli and salad, very little in the way of starches. And so once we got back into his room, he started asking me a little bit about that. And I looked, doc, there's something up. I said, I cannot work without needing a nap in the middle of the day. I usually go up 6 a.m. till about noon, work with clients. And generally, I would provide a couple-hour workout, an opportunity to work out, eat, recharge the battery. And I couldn't get myself to even work out at that point because I was just so tired. I was sleeping that entirety of the time, and I was so groggy to wake up. I generally needed something to pick me back up and get through my afternoon session of teaching kids. And he said, well, it's in your culture, right? I said, what? It's in your culture. Hispanics traditionally take a siesta in the middle of the day. And I was taken back a little bit, like, is he really calling me a lazy Mexican? And ultimately, I knew at that point, at that moment, that I'd hit a dead end. But I was so desperate, I didn't really react my knee jerk, which was like tell him to screw off. Like, look, I'm here to do your job. I need to run some tests. These are the tests I want to run. And so the moral of the story is this. If you have significant symptoms of adrenal fatigue, you're wired and tired, anxious, depressed, libido changes, injuries that won't heal, sleep abnormalities, waking up feeling unrefreshed, amongst a great many other things, right? Chronic dehydration, can't get hydrated. Generally, you are going to go into allopathic medicine, even if you go into the ER, you have a panic attack, things like that. They're not probably going to find anything wrong with you. That's not to say they're not going to prescribe anything, because I was prescribed an antidepressant and Xanax right away to sort of calm me down. Now, is that okay for you to go down that that direction? Absolutely. But I'm here to tell you that they're not going to find anything traditionally wrong with you. They might actually come up with some little autoimmune, but remember, autoimmune means your body's sort of attacking itself, and so it's in a state of inflammation. That is just still coding a symptom. And so it's absolutely important that you understand that if you go down that allopathic route, there might not be a lot of answers, and it can lead to some frustration. Of course, everyone's journey is different. I will say that I took one Xanax and realized, like, and that's for another video, one Xanax, I'm like, there's no way I can do this. It's only recently that allopathic medicine has actually found that adrenal insufficiency, which they ultimately diagnose it, we generally in the field will call it adrenal fatigue, because people will understand that a little better. Adrenal fatigue, boom, yes, I have those. Okay, fatigue caused by this. Adrenal insufficiency is truly the better scientific term for it, but if you have any of those symptoms, there's a good chance that you have adrenal exhaustion, adrenal insufficiency, adrenal fatigue. And you can deal with it by dealing with a lot of different, hitting it from all angles, from a nutrition, exercise, mindset, trauma, all those things. And this is actually something that I do, but I want to share this video with you guys so that you can get the ball rolling and understand that you can hit it from one of many different angles all at the same time is the best way to improve that. That's it for today, guys. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Thanks.